when we launched the Shelfies, we do have a base of categories, but we always expand based on the products that we receive. So even though if you don't see like, hey, these are the categories we are going to do, we always add more. Like this year, we have way more than the ones that we said we are going to do. But yeah, what we're looking for is innovation in the industry. We take the time to read like every brand story to see which one also like stand out for us, the sustainability, the packaging, the branding. So many things like play a part, and of course like the feel, the taste, or for skincare like the results that we have over time. And
definitely, I mean, like we're looking for brands that are changing the system, doing things differently, really trying their best to like change the food system, just like make better choices, be more sustainable, be more earth friendly, whatever it may be. So like we're definitely looking for things like that in the product itself, and then also in like the company's mission. The biggest thing though, honestly, is like it has to taste good, or if it's like a beauty product or something like that, like it has to work good. Like obviously you could have like amazing branding and a really cool story, but if your product isn't good, then you know, it kind of just stops right there.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Startup CPG podcast. Today we have a very special episode because last week we finally announced the Shelfies 2024 finalists. We tried over 1,500 products, everything from beauty to baby, with even our furry friends joining the judging panel. This year's competition was fierce, and it was so hard to narrow down the brands that we wanted to give this award of even a finalist, let alone the winners themselves. So in this episode, I talked to Patty and Kiki, my fellow Shelfies judges, about the brands that stood out, why they stood out, and what we were looking for as we were judging these products. I hope you enjoy this episode, and as always, let me know what you think. And please do join us for the Shelfies Awards ceremony live on LinkedIn on September 4th. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Startup CPG podcast. Today, we are here with an extra special bonus episode now that we have officially, drumroll please, announced the finalists for the 2024 Shelfie Awards. I'm so lucky to be joined by Patricia and Kiki, who are my fellow judges in the Shelfie Awards. So I'd love for you guys just to introduce yourself really quick, and we'll start with you, Patty.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Patricia, the head of marketing and community here at Startup CPG. This is my third year being a judge for the Shelfies, and I have to say that this one was the one that we had the most submissions and the most products. I'm so glad that, before we were only 2 judges, but now we have 3 judges, so they make the process easier because we are getting more submissions. So excited to share about the finalists today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm Kiki. I'm our social media and events manager. This was my first year judging for the Shelfies. It was insane and fun all at the same time. So yeah, excited to talk about it with you.
Yeah, we got a lot of packages. I did tell Patty and Kiki that my, USPS and UPS person called me out a few times, like, are you a shopping addict? And I had to explain that, no, I'm not. It's my job, weirdly enough. But yeah, so also my first year as a judge, super, super fun and exciting. But just to, let our listeners know a little bit more about the Shelfie Awards. This was our 4th annual Shelfie Awards, which was very, very exciting. And our whole mission is to support small emerging brands. And so one of the challenges that emerging brands have is the cost and labor barrier to nominating your products for these big, amazing, awards. So we decided to create our own to recognize these best of the best emerging CPG brands without any cost to the brand beyond shipping the products to the judges. So this year we got over 500 submissions and over 1,500 SKUs. So again, lots of packages. And we ended up with 28 categories and 107 finalists. Also, something really cool about this year's Shelfies is that the submissions were over 70 or close to, 70% female owned and close to 50% minority owned. So really cool to see this diverse variety of CPG brands coming from all across America, from all sorts of backgrounds. And yeah, we're going to dive in and talk about it all. We'll try to be short and sweet, but given that a lot of our Shelfies calls were up to 2 hours long, it might be challenging, but we'll do our best. So first and foremost, I think a lot of questions that we get sometimes as Shelfies judges is just, what are you looking for? How do you judge these products? What's the criteria and what goes into considering who is nominated to be a finalist? So, Patty, I'll start with you since you've done it for a few years now, but then we'll go to you, Kiki.
Yeah, sure thing. Just that you mentioned about the male calling you out. I had a male person too that she was like complaining to the neighbors. She was like, I don't know what this girl does, but like she got so many packets. But yeah, what we're looking for is innovation in the industry. We take the time to read like every brand story to see which one also like stand out for us, the sustainability, the packaging, the branding. So many things like play a part. And of course, like the feel, the taste, or for skincare, like the results that we have over time. And that's why we do the skincare or beauty category very early on. So it's the first like month submission because we want to make sure that we have the time to really evaluate every single brand and see if our skin or our body is having improvement with those. And yeah, and then we bring also, different friends or different experts from the industry to try the products with us. But because even though we are three like person that we all have very different personalities and tastes, but at the same time, it's always great to bring other people, right? So I did a lot of like Shelfie tasting events. So I call my friends. My neighbors already love me because I gave so much product to them, but always collecting feedback. And there were a few brands that basically every single person just loved that product. It's very interesting to see how different people love this, end up loving the same product. But of course, some products, I like it better, or Grace like better, or Kiki. So we really take the time to talk about like why that brand really stand out for you. What was the key component or ingredient that was there that each person liked?
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely had some products that we all were in complete agreement, and then some where we had a little, back and forth. Never got too testy, but we definitely had a few, disagreements, I'll say. But Kiki, what about you? What are some of the biggest things you're looking for when you're receiving all these products?
Definitely. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we're looking for is innovation. Like we're looking for brands that are changing the system, doing things differently, really trying their best to like change the food system, just like make better choices, be more sustainable, be more earth friendly, whatever it may be. So like we're definitely looking for things like that in the product itself, and then also in like the company's mission. The biggest thing though, honestly, is like it has to taste good. Or if it's like a beauty product or something like that, like it has to work good. Like obviously you could have like amazing branding and a really cool story, but if your product isn't good, then, it kind of just stops right there. But those are probably the first things we look for. And then when it comes down to like differentiating, okay, like both these products are like taste really good, I like them, then it's getting into like, okay, what are the ingredients? How clean is it? What's the packaging look like? The branding. And there was definitely times where it came down to like us being like, okay, like we can't pick all of these people to be winners. So like we had to like dig deep into like, the nitty gritty details and look at their social media presence, just like their digital footprint in general, their website. So, I mean, we took a lot of things into consideration, and it was really hard narrowing it down. And again, it just came down to like, those fine details at the end of the day.
Totally. And I think to your point about it needs to work or it needs to taste good, we constantly asked ourselves the question, would we buy this again? or would we recommend this to somebody? So say if, it's a kid's product, I don't have children, but would I recommend this product to friends with kids or things like that? Or would I buy this snack again? And, if our answer was no, it's like, like you said, no matter how amazing your mission is or how amazing your branding is, if I wouldn't buy it again or recommend it to somebody I know, it kind of defeats the purpose. And speaking of some of the judges, that sounds like that was one of Kiki's dogs. No, that he has things to say about these products because they were the judges in the pet, category. So we'll get to them.
Yeah, sorry. They're antsy to speak, I guess.
One thing that I want to add to that Kiki was saying that, whenever we had some, let's say one category, we had 3 or 2 brands that we loved the most, and we were like kind of not arguing about, but kind of arguing about like which one we're going to pick. One of the differentiations too for some of the brands is the engagement that they have within Startup CPG. That plays a huge role as well. Like sometimes we love the product but like if, we don't see that the brand is engaging with us either through Slack or events or social media, we want to make sure that we recognize brands that we love, but at the same time, give the love back to Startup CPG.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. So let's get into some of the 28 categories. Unfortunately, we won't get to every single category. So if you're a brand that we don't get to, I apologize in advance and, we'll try to shout you out in another way. But I wanted to start with our skincare and body care categories, which are always really exciting and fun for us because we get to use them over many months and get to see how our skin and body care changes. And I still have some of the products that we received in February, and I still use some of the ones that are our finalists to this day if I haven't already finished the bottle. So Patty, I'd love to start with you. You are such a beauty aficionado. You know everything. What were you looking for in these beauty submissions, and how did these finalists that we selected stand out for you?
I wish that I knew everything, but I think for the skincare is definitely, the clean beauty. It's something that it's very important right now. Like we all take so much care, like what do we put in our body, and like just the whole like wellness environment of working out and, or just go for a walk, kind of like having a better lifestyle. So at the end of the day, you also want to make sure that whatever you're putting on your skin is great for your body too. So the clean beauty, the ingredients. Also, what I noticed is like how versatile a product is, right? For example, Protégé, it's we got a serum that you can use on your body, but you can use on your face too. So sometimes how easy it is to implement that beauty product, either like, like hygiene or skincare or body care or any type of product, supplements, how easy it is to implement that on your routine in a way that is super easy instead of like, oh, I have to go an extra mile to incorporate that. And also what makes you feel good, right? There were some products that we were like the night cream from Junk Theory. We were all like obsessed how our skin felt the next day, the next morning. Even though it's like very condensed, like a very thick texture, it doesn't clog your pores. Like it doesn't, it doesn't impact you in a negative way. And then we also look for how diverse they are. For example, are they using, models for their marketing that is just like, just if like the models are diverse, are they trying to talk with different communities? So I think that's something important too, because we definitely, as we said, like, we have a lot of women on, minority on. We want to make sure that their marketing also reflects on, the diverse we are having.
Yeah.
That is important for that. One of the things that I discovered too, for example, is the foaming, the Eco Clean towels, because I already buy a towel from Amazon, another brand, is not in our community. it's like a very trending brand on TikTok. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. And I found that my skin had so much more improvement of using a clean towel versus just using my normal towel every day. And I didn't know at all that they were not sustainable. Because honestly, I just like, bought from Amazon. I was like, yeah, sure, I will try. And then when I received them, I was like, oh, wait, I already use this product. Let me check their website, why they are different from this other brand that I use. And honestly, they have this like little chart that says why exactly the brand that I use. And they were like, why are we better than them? And I'm like, okay, great. I am already a customer. I'm going to buy from this brand. Because they said, like, are we going to buy this product again? Or are we going to recommend that?
Have you repurchased from Foman yet? Or do you still have enough?
No, actually, it just finished after I moved out from the Bay Area. But now because I'm going to be like 4 months in my digital nomad area traveling around, I don't want to like carry extra things. So yeah, but it's definitely on my list to buy when I'm back to the US.
When you're settled again. I love that. And I love what you were saying too about the diversity of models. And it's something I love about Proteges, their dermal serum, their marketing. They use all sorts of bodies, older bodies, younger bodies, fat bodies, thin bodies, all the above. And I really appreciate that in marketing around skincare and body care and beauty, because it's something you don't often see from these larger, huge brands. But before we move on, I also know that Kiki was a big fan of Sea Drops, which is like a waterless skin cleanser. And that actually is impressively foamy and works really well. But Kiki, I'd love for you to say a little bit about what you loved about Sea Drops.
Yeah, so I actually started really liking Sea Drops whenever we went to Expo West, because that's what I packed in my bag as like my face wash. So I didn't have to bring like, my normal bottle of face wash that I either have to like transfer into a different container or like, wrap it up in a plastic bag so it doesn't leak or anything. Because they're like dehydrated little like capsules, kind of like they look like a pill, and you just like crush it and mix it with water, and it like surprisingly does get really foamy and also surprisingly makes your skin feel like really soft. So yeah, I became a fan of Sea Drops while I was at Expo West.
Yeah, and just another example of some exciting innovation that we got to see, like having this waterless skin cleanser. I'd never seen that before in my life, and all sorts of things. And another thing I noticed in the beauty was definitely just this emphasis on simplicity and sustainability. I think every single brand we chose had, a sustainability mission, and also was emphasizing using fewer products that, do more, and, like Region's all-encompassing serum that we all fell in love with. So it's really exciting to see all of that happening in the body and skincare space. But next category, pet care. So I have 2 cats, but I have my parents have a dog. So I ended up giving a lot of the pet care to my parents' dog. But Kiki has 2 adorable corgis that we just heard from earlier. So I'll throw this question to Kiki. How did you test the many, many pet products we received? And then how did you narrow it down to our 4 finalists?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I will say judging pet stuff is different from, the things that obviously I can taste on my own. But taste is still a big factor. Like, you can tell whenever the dogs like something more than something else. Like, a lot of people would think like, oh, like a dog will just see anything, which might be true to an extent, but you can tell when they like things better. Like, their eyes get bigger, or they'll like sniff around for like every last crumb. And then obviously like ingredients is a big part of it. Like, I'm reading through the ingredients on every package. Pet products are like kind of notoriously known for using lower grade ingredients. Like, oftentimes they're using ingredients that are like essentially waste products of, like making like food for humans or, stuff like that. And pet food is actually like overseen by like animal and agriculture. Yeah, the ingredients can be really weird. So I'm always looking at that. And then also something that I'm looking for is like products that have some like supportive ingredients in it, or like vitamins. But which is why I really love Brutish's bone broth. It's something I actually give my dogs in their food every day, but they just came out with this new brothsicle. So it looks like, you know, those popsicles you had as a kid that came in like the plastic tubes that like, I don't know, I feel like you would always get them at like when you go to the swimming pool. Like it looks like that, but it's filled with broth. And the cool thing about their broth is it's actually fortified with glucosamine, which is good for dogs' joint health. So I'm a big fan of that. Another one that I really loved was Dandelion. They make like really clean ingredient, like skin care and hair care products for dogs. And they make this product called Soft Paws, which is in this like really kind of like luxurious looking applicator. Like it looks like something you would see like in like the beauty department for like humans, you know? And it has like a really soft brush, and essentially you just like, you know, apply it to your dog's paws, which are known to get like dry and cracked, and it makes them soft. So yeah, Soft Paws.
Yeah, I was definitely very impressed by all of the dog products that I was truly like, this is fancier than the hair products I use. They're like dog grooming products. So like, these are so nice. And I didn't realize that these brands were out there.
Yeah, I think that Dandelion's making really awesome stuff. And then, of course, we have to shout out Bundle and Joy. They've been a very active member of our community for a couple years. And they just came out with a superfood stew, which my dogs absolutely went crazy over. And as a pet parent, I really like products like this because sometimes dogs can be really picky and they don't want to eat their food. So being able to mix in some sort of topper, just like mix it up is good, to get them to eat. And then also, it's like really clean, simple ingredients, like whole food ingredients, like real meat, vegetables, like pumpkin, things like that, which is great for if your dog is ever like sick or not feeling well and they can't eat their normal food. Like you can give them that, and you don't have to like, you know, get up early in the morning and fix like rice and veggies and everything. Like you can just open the stew and use it, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Really cool to see the different things that are coming out in pet care. And my parents, our dog is so old. She's 15 years old. And they were like, oh my God, we didn't even know these things existed, but this is awesome. And so she definitely appreciated the extra treats and things she was getting during that month. But the next category that I want to talk about is beverages, which is a truly ginormous category. During the month we were receiving beverages, I think all of our fridges were basically just filled with cans of different products. You know, we had coffee, kombucha, non-alcoholic seltzers, alcoholic seltzers, different beverages with benefits. So we have, I think, 4 different categories in this section alone of just beverages because there are so many on the market and so many that are doing really cool, delicious, and exciting things. So let's just start with, how did we choose the finalists? Maybe let's start with our Bevs with Benefits category. Patty, how did we narrow it down and how did we land on the 4 we have?
It was a very tough decision, I'll say that. Because as you said, we got so many beverages. And I think like throughout the years, as me being a judge, the beverage category is, I kind of want to say that it's the biggest one that we have. Like it's the most competitive. So I think that, again, I know that we touch base a lot of this about like the innovation, right? Like what are some unique products? What are some brands that are doing that are different? So Huxley, they use this cascara superfruit to use as a caffeine instead of like, you know, other normal coffee beans or matcha, kind of like things that we already see in the market. Also, what I love about their product, it's only 90 milligrams of caffeine versus other energy drinks are like 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine. So after you drink that, it's, by the way, the taste is amazing. But after you drink that, I don't feel like, you know, a crazy jitter or like, oh my God, I need to like run the marathon right now because I'm just so like hyped about it. And we never, I mean, at least I've never seen anything using the cascara superfruit as the main ingredient for energy drink. And then bare maple, which
We love bare maple.
we love bare maple. I think that we drink bare maple in most of our Shelfies live. It's very interesting that they use maple water. So there is no sweeteners, no sugar. Because, some brands says no sugar, but they have like artificial sugar inside. So it's literally no sugar because maple water is already sweet. And then ginseng is an ingredient that we think that it's kind of trending this year, I would say, that we've seen a lot of brands using it. But the maple water, it makes the bare maple more unique. Yeah, I think just like, again, all the innovation, some things that are different, but it still tastes good and make you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I loved bare maple also because, ginseng is sort of a natural source of energy. It's not caffeine at all, but it does give you a sort of, midday pick-me-up, which I really appreciated having at home. And, every time we had the bare maple in my house, it quickly went away, which just does also tell me that people are enjoying it. But I also really loved, we got sent a lot of kombucha, and I know Patty's not the biggest kombucha fan, but I really like kombucha. And I was really happy that Walker Brothers submitted their kombucha because at Expo West, they weren't in our section, but they were near our section. And I just kept going over them being like, hey, can I have another kombucha? So I was so happy they submitted, and I love their blueberry jasmine kombucha. It's so delicious and not too acidic and not too sweet, because I think kombuchas can sometimes go to either ends of that spectrum. And so Walker Brothers to me is kind of a good example of, it's not necessarily the most innovative product in the world. There's so many kombuchas, but A, their branding is really good. B, it tastes really good. And then C, their flavors are unique. And the blueberry jasmine definitely brings something fun and different to the kombuchas that I feel like are already on the market. So, other beverages though.
Oh, sorry. Can I just add something? Talking about Expo West, one thing that we want to highlight too is that we do pay attention.
Did we lose Patty?
What happens just outside our own, team judging any product. Because when we were at Expo West, we were doing the Central Market meetings in our booth, and this brand Eva, we never heard about them before, but I paid attention very close when the buyers walk with us in our section or they're doing meetings. What are they saying about those brands? Because, at the end of the day, buyers will make a decision if that brand's gonna be on their shelf or not. And as soon as this brand Eva, their energy drink, super clean too with Brazilian ingredients. I remember that the buyer from Central Market, the founder just left. The buyer from Central Market looked to the other buyer and she was like, you have to try this. And right away, they told the brand, like, we are going to carry you at Central Market. So it's very interesting to also, see the perspective of buyers. What are they looking for? What is very interesting to them? So that also plays a role with our judging process.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely helpful to have some buyers that we know and can ask what they're thinking and see at trade shows and things like that. But so another huge category, and I keep saying that these are all huge categories and they're all competitive, but honestly, every category was competitive. But another huge one was condiments, and in particular, hot sauce and chili oils and all these things. And if you've been around the CPG space or even walked to the grocery store, you have probably seen the really proliferation of chili oils and crunches and hot sauces. So it was a lot to go through all of the hot sauces and all of these things and narrow it down to just 4 hot sauces. And then also we have a condiment category that one of those or a few of those are spicy. And it is also a hard question of what's a condiment versus sauce versus all of these things. But we did our best. But anyway, Kiki, what were some of your favorite hot sauces we got to try, favorite chili oils, and why do you think that they were worthy of a finalist role when we do get so many submissions?
Yeah, this was a tough one. There was a day where I literally sat down with like a bag of corn chips and just tasted like, oh my gosh, I'm not even exaggerating, probably at least 50 hot sauces / chili oils. And just like looking through everyone's website, looking at the ingredients and everything, and like trying to narrow it down because it was really, really hard. I do love spicy food, and I put hot sauce on pretty much everything. So I did enjoy actually judging this category. So I mean, what tasted good? Who's doing interesting stuff? So like a couple interesting flavors that we got. So Seed Ranch, they made, I think it's called like, how is it called? Nashville Soul or Soul Hot or something like that. What's it called again?
I think it is Nashville Soul, but the Soul is spelled like Seoul in Korea.
Like, yeah, Soul. But yeah, I thought that one was really, really good because it's kind of like a Nashville hot sauce, but it's made with gochujang in it, which is like a traditional Korean like chili paste, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I was eating that on my eggs like a lot. And then Hot and Saucy makes this black garlic hot sauce that I was just like obsessed with. So I've never had a black garlic hot sauce before. It's more on like the vinegary side for a hot sauce. And it's not super, super spicy, but it's just like very flavorful.
Yeah, I appreciated that with the Hot and Saucy hot sauces is that they really went in on flavor and they weren't going to totally like burn your entire mouth off. And I recognize that, you know, we all have different spice tolerances, particularly based on the different cultures we grow up in. You know, our spice tolerances are different, but unfortunately, I am a white girl from Pennsylvania and I cannot always handle all of the spicy things. But the spiciest hot sauce I think we got, which was the Hot Pot Queen mushroom chili oil. I loved that one. And I did have to be careful about how much I put on things, but it uses like real chunky wild mushrooms in the chili oil. And I loved that differentiation. And that's something that the founder, Gia, who I've talked to before, was really intentional about because she said, yeah, there are so many hot sauces and chili oils on the market. I want to bring something different. So she always says she's going for more of that chunky flavor. And I really thought that was super fun. And then we also have Gloria's Shito in the finalist, and that's a Ghanaian hot sauce. And I really want to learn more about the whole history of this Shito chili oil in Ghana because it's the first time I've ever tried anything like it. And it's really delicious. And what would you say, Kiki, like smokier than a lot of the other chili oils?
It has a very deep smoky flavor to it. This is one that really surprised me because I think that chili oils are another very trendy thing in the industry right now. Like when you go to these trade shows and also just for the, you know, who submitted to Shelfies, like there is a plethora of chili oils out there. And I'll be honest, whenever I was judging, I was like, oh, great, another chili oil. And then like I put it in my mouth and I was kind of like, whoa, like this was not what I was expecting. The flavor was unlike any chili oil that I've ever tried. Yeah, definitely. This is one to try. It's a memorable one for me. And then another, getting into more of like the condiment side, another thing that I tasted that I had a similar experience where I was just like taste it and I was like, whoa, what is this? Was the pink salt Thai chili jam.
Oh my God,
I think you and I, Grace, are like obsessed with this one. It's so good. I don't even know how to explain the flavor of it either. It's like, it's spicy, it's sweet, it has a lot of umami flavor to it. I mean, it's like exactly what you want to put on top of your noodles.
It's so good. I literally at Fancy Foods, I had finished my jar before I went to Fancy Foods and I went up to her and I was like, please, can I have more samples? And she handed me like 10 little sachets of the chili jam when I came home and, you know, put it back in the jar and have been going through it again. But yeah, it's like sweet and spicy at the same time. It's really good on toast. It's really good on literally everything. And it's some form of magic. So everybody should check out Pink Salt's Thai chili jam because it's truly delicious. We also had a ton of different seasonings that we got sent, which were really hard to narrow down because A, there were so many good ones, and B, you know, we only cook so often. So, you know, we can't go through every single seasoning, every single meal. But Kiki, I also know you were a huge fan of some of the seasonings we got sent. So which ones stood out to you and why?
I mean, I'll always be a chutney punch fangirl. I have all the chutney punches in my pantry. I use the super sesame pretty much every day. I really like it on my eggs, but the ones that stood out to me, honestly, Pody Life, if that's how you say it, Pody Life was really interesting to me because they their seasoning is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like they cook the ingredients. Like it's roasted and like just very aromatic and super flavorful. Which surprised me. I had never heard of them before. Their branding is like so cute. Their seasoning's just like really, really good. And then Samabila, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Samabila? It's the instant ramen seasoning. I was a big fan of that one as well. I feel like with instant noodles, like the seasoning especially can just be like really, really salty and sometimes have like a weird aftertaste. Whereas like, I feel like this one, the ingredients are much cleaner. It's like full flavor and it's plant-based, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, Patty wasn't. Cute. Yeah, it is. Patty, wasn't Kevin, your husband, a huge fan of the instant ramen seasoning?
Yes, he was. Even like now that we put all of our like stuff in the storage, so I'm like store some of the seasonings. So he brought that with it's in his bag because he was like, "You're gonna cook this for me again." Because it's spicy. I'm glad that you guys are chatting about the hot sauce and everything. Because for me, I'm like, I'm not a good judge for that. But thankfully, I have Kevin and my neighbors to help me with that. But yes, yeah, he brought that with him in his backpack, and he's like, "You're gonna cook that for me again." I'm like, "Okay, just take it, take it with you."
I love it. I love it. Yeah. My other favorite finalist they're all our favorites because they're the finalists, but one of my other favorites was the Josu garlic and chive salt. And I actually just finished my jar of that and I'm really sad because I was using that like every day on my eggs and so many things. And they also have a kimchi salt, which is really cool. And just really delicious stuff. And I forget exactly where they source their sea salt from. But again, it's just Korea. Seeing places, Korea, okay. Seeing people that are doing both innovative things, but then also sourcing really high quality ingredients to do it, sourcing the highest quality salt, Pody Life sourcing these beautiful, like fresh spices and vegetables that they're toasting and roasting and turning into these spice blends. It's really exciting to see all that innovation. But speaking of things that people might be like, how did you three ladies judge that? We are three people without children. How did we judge the kids category? Patty, maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, I have friends that they have kids. So like, since also like last year, I just go to her house and drop like a huge box of products for her to try. And just, she literally sent me a video with some like gummies or other products in front of her kid, and her kid was just trying and we could see his like face reaction to the products. So it's literally just like trying to get our friends or families that have kids. Mm-hmm. And I would say that I'm not a kid, but damn, there are some like products that I use or I eat them all, like the Mavericks cookies. Kevin is not gluten-free, so unfortunately I cannot have it. But like Kevin, he doesn't let me give that to any kids. Like he eats the whole, all the like SKUs and all the products. Moon fruit as well. We love like gummies and everything. And the Sunny also. Everything was great. I do give to the kids, but I have to say that also like we have some internal kids inside of us. So we also try those products.
Oh, definitely. The Sunnies, they had a pizza dipper and I think they had a hummus one too. Those did not go to any children in my life. Those stayed in our house and they were me and my partner's midday snacks. So that's how we judge that one. But I do think it's also a testament of like where kid food is kind of going is people don't want to just give kids like this gross junk food anymore. People want to give them high quality ingredients, high quality food so that they don't like grow up and only want to eat buttered noodles. They're expanding their palate from a young age so that they can enjoy all the many things to come and also eat healthy stuff, eat stuff that's filled with, yummy things, or just shaped like a lightning bolt and tastes like a birthday cake cookie like Mavericks. So important stuff there. So moving on, snacks, another extremely, extremely competitive category. Oh my God, so many snacks. We split it up into savory, sweet, and healthy snacks so that we could, sort of differentiate these different products because we got so many. So maybe rapid fire, since, we're already 40 minutes in and I don't want to, have us go on for too long, but let's each say our favorite snacks, savory and sweet. Patty, starting with you.
Okay, that's hard. Only
I know.
one? Oh, damn it. Okay, can I just say 2 names?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say 2 names, no explanation, so we go fast. I like the biscuits, love biscuits, and Caroline's Crispy is also another huge favorite.
So good. Kiki?
Yeah, I can't narrow it down to just 2. Also, can I say next year we need to move the snacks category to earlier? Because this year it was like in the beginning of summer, and I'm like, I need to do this earlier so I have time to work off these extra pounds that I'm gained from eating all these snacks.
Literally.
They're so good. Okay, the Piedmont pennies, my family and I, they sent us like a case of like 6 boxes. And I don't think they lasted more than 2 weeks in our house. Like, we were all just like addictive. We were addicted. So good.
Mm-hmm.
We can't talk about snacks without talking about snoods. I think all 3 of us are snoods fangirls. I mean, since day one, Lauren is killing it. Really good. The branding's amazing. I do have to say something about Unbothered Foods, though. That was one that came out of left field. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, because it's like a pretty healthy sourdough cracker, but they're addictive. Oh my gosh, I can't put them down. And then sweet snacks. I love freeze cake, especially after hearing her story and meeting her at Fancy Foods. Like, she has such an amazing story. Hopefully Grace will cover it one day, so we don't have to go into it right now, because it's a long story, but it's an amazing story. Definitely look into freeze cake if you haven't checked them out yet. And then Spritzel cookies is another one our whole family was obsessed with. They're like 5 ingredients or less, these shortbread cookies. Delicious.
Yeah, those are so good. Perfect for like dipping in tea time if we're all going to be really classy and have people over for tea in the afternoon. But I'll touch on the other few that we didn't talk about, which happen to also be some of my favorites. One being Doustra's The Mix, which is this like amazingly delicious different like spice mix with like caramelized white chocolate and spicy little like rice things. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's magic and I love it. And again, another person at Fancy Foods that I stalked and asked for more samples because I'd already finished all of the ones he sent me. And then also Austin Pretzel Company, which makes these like caramel covered pretzels that are so good and so addicting, like salty, sweet deliciousness. Another thing that really did not last long in my house. And also I needed some time before the summer after inhaling some of those boxes or bags, I should say. But yeah, the snacks was a really hard category. And I think that's why we also added a whole healthy snacks category, because there were some that we really loved that were less of that, like maybe, addicting, sweet, thing, but were something that we would all genuinely eat like on a road trip or would take, for post gym and things like that. So we had to add some categories in the snacks just because there were so many cool brands doing really exciting stuff. So the last category we're going to talk about today, or no, I'm sorry, I lied. There's 2 more, but we're going to get through it. 2 more. Frozen, another thing we had to expand the category because we got so many amazing submissions. So we had frozen sweets and we had frozen food. So Kiki, I'll start with you. What were you most excited about in the finalists we had in the frozen category for both sweets and for food? What was really sort of do you feel like was pushing the envelope and, bringing this category forward?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. This is a category that we definitely argued the most about, I think. Like narrowing this down was really tough, but standouts for me, Sweetie ice cream, their mochi ice cream, so good. What I really liked about it is that oftentimes you get mochi and it's like you have to let it like sit out for a while before you can like eat it. And Sweetie, you can just like eat it like right out of the freezer. Like obviously, if you let it sit for a little bit, a little bit softer, but like it's not necessary. Those I really enjoyed a lot. And then Paioa and Sobo Foods are always going to be at the top of my list. I mean, Paioa, their pizzas are so insanely delicious. The eggplant miso flavor I'm obsessed with. Definitely a booth we kept going back to during Fancy Foods. Like we ate their pizza like for lunch almost every day. And then Sobo Foods, I mean, their flavors are really, really good. The potato and the Japanese Korean potato was my favorite one. And what I really like about them is that all their flavors are also plant-based. So as a plant-based foodie, I can have all of the flavors, which I super appreciate, but the Japanese Korean potato I think is the best.
Yeah, they're doing some form of magic with the plant-based meat alternatives they're doing. They just released, I think, a chicken dumpling flavor that was so good. And I truly was like, this is chicken. This tastes like chicken. This isn't a plant-based alternative. This is chicken. So they're really doing some sorcery and making really good frozen dumplings that I'm super excited to see where they go next. But Patty, what about you? What were some of the standouts for you in the frozen category?
I have to say that the frozen food, the Paioa and Sobo, I wish they had a gluten-free version because everyone raves about them. Like every single event, people are like, have you tried this? And I'm like, no, like I can't.
So if you're listening, Paioa and Sobo Foods, make a gluten-free option for Patty.
They told me soon. I was like, okay, I can be your judge for that. But yeah, I hear all the time great thing about those. But so for me, what is stood out was Shinka Foods. Love their pupusa. It's delicious. It's so yummy, so good. I do love the True Joy because they use the Greek yogurt, but it's not sour. Because I have tried some other brands with Greek yogurt ice cream, but theirs is not. I don't know what they do, but it's so good. Like, it's addictive. Like, we kind of finished the ice creams that we received. I think it was like 3 SKUs that we received, like, very fast.
Yeah,
I'm even
definitely.
ashamed to say how fast that was. And I did like the Uncle Nick's pizza as well. That was really good. Kevin and I, we did like a date night baking pizza. That was very fun. Also, like,
and that's a cauliflower crust for the people who don't know about Uncle Nick's.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, and then we choose the oregano, basil, and thyme flavor. I did like those, but the baker, I have to say, when I did the Shelfie tasting event, people went crazy for those cookies. Like, even there were neighbors passing by because, we were trying so much, like, too many foods for us to eat all the, like, cookies. So neighbors were walking with their dogs. I was like, here, have a cookie. And everybody was like, wait, which brand is this?
So good. Yeah, I served those baker cookies a couple times when friends were over for dinner and they were like, what's this homemade cookie you made? I was like, I didn't make it. It's frozen, but it's delicious. And yeah, I really loved those as well. So last but not least, the plant-based alternative. Another place we've got to go to Kiki for as our resident vegetarian who's been a vegetarian for about a decade. What do you look for in plant-based food? I feel like it's a category that has changed and evolved so much over the last few years. Mm-hmm. And there's so much exciting innovation happening. I know me personally, I was really excited about the plant-based cheese we received because I was like, whoa, this actually tastes like cheese. But what were you most excited by in the plant-based category? And, how do we narrow it down?
Yeah, plant-based cheese has come a long way. I first transitioned to the veg lifestyle in 2015, which you would think that in 2015 we would actually have been pretty involved in the space, but surprisingly not. So it's been really cool to see like all of these new products that are coming out. I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to taste good, and I like simple ingredients. I'm not really a huge fan of like the lab made meat and like those sorts of things, like, which is what I appreciated about some of the finalists that we have in this category, like Barbecue and Doja Fresh. They're both making like meat alternatives, but they're using really simple ingredients, like tried and true. Like, you know, you don't need a lab made meat. You like soy and, you know, vital wheat gluten can go a long way if you know, flavor it right. And both of those brands are doing that. Like the Barbecue, their carnitas, super, super good. I'm pretty sure it's just made with like soy curls, and then they smoke it and season it, and like the texture is spot on. It's really good. And they're actually just down the street from me in Charlotte. So they're a North Carolina brand. So shout out to them. And then, yeah.
If you guys have any missing products, you know, Kiki went to your facility.
I took all the carnitas. Doja Fresh is actually a North Carolina brand as well, and they make shelf-stable plant-based mixes, which are really, really tasty. And then, I mean, we can't talk about plant-based alternatives without talking about Rind. I mean, I think Rind is a brand that all of us, like, across the board just agreed on, like, this is one of the best vegan cheeses that we've tasted. Their canned blue cheese. I mean, I think that meat eaters and vegetarians, like, everyone's going to love it. But I think that meat eaters too, like, if they tasted that and then you were like, that's made from plants, they would be like, there's no way. I think in a blind tasting, 100%. Like, they would not be able to tell.
Yeah, no, I have to say that Kevin, my husband, he hates plant-based cheese because, you know, the like kind of nut flavors stick to your teeth. And whenever we have Rind, he's always like, no, this is not plant-based. Like, it doesn't taste like, you know, the like plant-based kind of normal style. So I have to say that he loves this one, and he doesn't like plant-based cheese at all.
Yeah, it's so impressive. And honestly, you know, we had to narrow it down, and Rind was our favorite, but we got so many other plant-based cheeses that were also really good. And just across the board, I was really impressed with where plant-based cheese has gotten to. And for people who are either plant-based or just like dairy-free, you know, my brother can't handle dairy, and I brought him some of these plant-based cheeses, and he's like, oh my God, this is like the first time I'm actually enjoying plant-based cheeses. So it's really cool to see. But Rind is definitely top of the pack for us, I feel, in terms of the world of plant-based cheese. Whoa, so many products, and we didn't even get to all of them. Now you guys are getting a sense of our hours-long conversations we've been having over the last few months. And, you know, it's really been a journey to get to these finalists, and we're really excited about all these brands. And we're also even more excited to announce the winners, which we will be doing in a live ceremony on September 6th. But before we get into that...
September 4th.
I'm so sorry. September 4th. Scratch that. Don't listen to me. Listen to Patty. But before we get into that, I want to give the mic to Patty, who, as I said, knows everything. So she can tell you a little bit about the new Shelfies storefront.
Yeah, we are so excited to launch this. So we have partnered with Niche, and we are launching the Startup CPG marketplace. And it's going to be linked on our website, but we can also link here on this episode notes. And of course, they're going to be launching Slack, email, and everything. But it's going to be a place where you can shop all the finalists of 2024 for the Shelfies. And we are also going to later, whenever we launch the winners, you know, just add a section highlighting the winners. So in that marketplace, you can shop by categories like beauty and wellness, food and beverage, supplements. So we have different divisions. So you can click on the brand, read about them, and then shop their products. And then later on, as I said, we are going to like have the section for the winners as well. So that will be so excited because I know that whenever we did lives, to announce the winners or just announce the finalists in the past, people were like, I have so many tabs open because, every time we say a name, they want to like open their webpage so they can discover about the brand and buy their product. So we found this partner that we can have in one place all the products. So it makes your life easier to shop our favorite.
Yeah. These are vetted products by not just us, but by all of our friends and family and neighbors and random people we see on the street and ask to please try some of the products we've received. So as we said, the Shelfie Awards ceremony will be on September 4th. And you can RSVP, and you should RSVP. It'll be on LinkedIn, a red carpet awards ceremony, and we'll put a link to that in the show notes. And then also another thing for Patty to tell you about is our Shelfie Awards boat party. What's happening there, Patty?
Yeah, so we rent this amazing boat that we did a party last year here in Los Angeles. It departs from Marina del Rey, and we rented the boat again to do it's a LA meetup. So anyone can join us, but this meetup will be just to celebrate the innovation in our space. And of course, we'd love to have some Shelfie finalists and winners that are celebrating with us, but truly anyone in the industry that loves the CPG industry as much as we do. And we will have a shared table where first come, first serve. So any brand that wants to bring their products, you can just drop the product on that table and then people can try while we have the boat ride. We have some amazing guests, some buyers coming. Of course, we are going to have some captain hats and a lot of fun. We are going to be here from our team, Danielle, myself, Melissa and Peter. Unfortunately, Kiki and Grace are not joining this one, but hopefully next year we have an even bigger party where you guys can come.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, and tickets for the boat, we are I think it's like 80% sold out. So make sure that you grab your ticket ASAP.
Yes, get on it and show up in style. So for Kiki and I who can't be there, and one day we'll get a real red carpet and we'll all be there and it'll be amazing. But so as we wrap up, any last words on this year's Shelfies? Or maybe let's say this, what are we looking forward to for next year's Shelfies? Kiki?
Oh man. For next year's Shelfies, I'm looking forward to us preparing a little bit better and not doing beverages and condiments in the same month, because those were like two of our biggest categories. And I'm not kidding you. There were days where I was getting 10 or 12 packages a day. Like it was like the UPS truck would come as soon as they left. Here comes FedEx. Here comes, the postal service, and like boxes just stacked. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I think we learned a lot. We learned a lot from this year and how to improve things for next year. So I'm looking forward to that. And just, whatever new and exciting's out there, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are just have an idea in their head right now and they haven't even started. So send us your products next year.
Yes. What about you, Patty?
Oh, I think that for me is I want to grow since I love like the beauty wellness supplement, like I really want to grow that category. So I'm working on it. So I would love to see more brands applying for those categories. Also, what I noticed, because we did open these categories last year. So from last year to this year, I don't think I saw any like brands repeating submission for those two. And, food and beverage, I've seen brands that apply last year, they apply this year again. So you can apply as many times as you want. We did have brands in the past that they, first year they didn't get to the finalist, and then the next year they got finalist, or sometimes they get finalist one year. The next year they won finalist again, sometimes winners. So I do encourage everyone to apply, but yeah, grow the beauty and wellness category. Also, I know what I've noticed, just like going to trade shows, but also talking to buyers, is that we are expanding the innovation in the meat industry. So also, potentially creating a category for that, because I do feel that some brands email us saying that they were not sure where they could apply for the meat category. Sorry, Kiki, I know you're based on that, but I think that's something that, just seeing what the innovation is out there and increasing those categories for the Shelfies too. But as we say, when we launched the Shelfies, we do have a base of categories, but we always expand based on the products that we receive. So even though if you don't see like, hey, these are the categories we are going to do, we always add more. Like this year, we have way more than the ones that we said we are going to do. Mm-hmm. So I think those are it for me. What about you, Grace?
Yeah, no, I mean, I echo what you're all saying. I mean, I also think we should do frozen maybe in February, not in May, especially when there's a heat wave. I felt so bad for all the frozen brands. They were so nervous about their things melting on arrival. But luckily, for the most part, I think everything worked out okay. I agree on the meats thing as well. I think there's definitely some innovation happening in those areas. Shout out to Lottie's Meats, who I know Patty and I are huge fans of. So, want to make sure we can include more and more brands and bring more people into the Shelfies and just highlight more and more. And yeah, I will say there's definitely some brands that applied this year that I hope are applying again next year, because they were sort of still really early, or maybe they didn't have their branded packaging yet and things like that. And we do, take branding and packaging and all of those things into consideration. So if you didn't get a finalist this year, I really hope you apply again. And I won't say who, because that feels like cheating, but there were a lot of brands that I was really excited about, but we couldn't give the finalists to this year. Yeah. So I'm hoping to see some repeats, but also excited to see, some of these brands that maybe don't even exist yet, who are going to be sending us a package next May with their like original prototypes and things like that. So I can't wait. And I can't wait to announce the winners. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. And then last thing that I want to add, I do want to give a huge shout out to Social Nature for sponsoring this year's Shelfies 2024 and give the chance for, all these brands to shine, making sure that we also have the resources to help these small brands grow. And yeah, we can't wait to have them at the party as well, to celebrate with us at the boat party. So yeah, really, really thank you for Social Nature.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great shout out. And it has been so rewarding to announce the finalists and hear from everybody who's been a finalist, how excited they are, how much it means to them. And I've talked to past Shelfie winners as well who've said it was just so huge for them and such a bolster to their confidence, and also going to, buyer meetings and saying, yeah, we won a Shelfies award, or we were a finalist. I talked to House of Kajana and they won a Shelfie last year, and they said, we brought that into our buyer meetings and said, we're being recognized. So it's so, so rewarding to get to offer this to brands, both to validate them ourselves and also allow them to bring that out into the world with them. So we're excited. We hope you all are excited. And if there's brands that are out there that you think should apply to the Shelfies next year, let them know and send them our way. And if you haven't already RSVP'd for the awards announcement, you should do that. And that's it, I think. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you everyone on September 4th.
Perfect. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, it would help us out so much if you left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I am Grace Kennedy, the editor for Startup CPG, so feel free to add me on LinkedIn or reach out to me on Slack. I'm always on the hunt for new and exciting brands to feature. And if you're a potential sponsor that would like to appear on the podcast, please email partnerships@startupcpg.com. And finally, as a reminder for anyone listening, if you haven't already, we would love for you to join our community on Slack, and you can sign up via our website, startupcpg.com.